Chapter 13, Exercises. Again, this chapter is merely one of just making some computations and understanding the difference between vertical and horizontal analysis, so I don't expect it will be very difficult for many of you to complete these exercises. Here we have an income statement, and we have a current period and we have a previous period, and they want us to do horizontal analysis. Well, horizontal analysis is going to take us left to right, so we're going to be calculating the difference between 75,000 and 100,000, and we're going to take that number and we're going to divide it by the 75,000 to get the percentage. In dollars, it's obviously going to be $25,000 increase, but as a percentage, I expect it to be different because it's going to be the 25,000 divided by the 75,000, which is going to be 33.3%. And you would go through this, and again, the easiest way I think to accomplish this is to go into Excel and work through it in Excel, put it in Excel and calculate the percentages that way, and then go back and put it in. If you're working in Connect and Connect lets you make the calculations within the system, by all means do so. But if you can't, you might want to have your calculator in hand, or maybe you're going to have a separate laptop, or maybe your phone will let you make the calculations and you can do it that way. If you can do it in Excel and still work in Connect, that would be marvelous. A vertical analysis takes us up and down. So in this one, yes, we can add down and go down, up and down the columns. Here they want us around to one decimal place, which is very helpful because then when we all do it, we all should come up with the same numbers. In the past, Connect has had issues when it comes to rounding, so I'm going to give you the warning that when you work in Connect, you may have some issues with rounding. If that's the case, please do let me know, and I will gladly adjust your scores for that. If you're going up and down, then you can also note that you should be able to go up and down by adding. So 100 minus 58 is 42, minus 9 is 33, minus 3 is 30, minus 9 is 21. Just like these numbers, the relationship holds in addition and subtraction. You have the same relationship holding when you go up and down this column, or this column for that matter. Now, interpreting. We're going to get to interpret some of this in a moment. So the average price of a gallon of gas in 2013 dropped 3%. And let's see whether those changes are reflected in the income statement for Chevron Corporation. They would like us to do a horizontal analysis and a vertical analysis, and they're kind to us because when they say the vertical analysis, which is up and down, they want us to do it as a percentage of total revenues. When we do our first requirement, which is our horizontal analysis, we find that our revenues did go down 4.8%. This, the 3% decrease in average gas price was less than the 4.8% decrease in revenues and less than the 4% decrease in the cost of crude oil and products. Therefore, it appears from this analysis the decrease in gas price explains only part of the decrease in revenues. And so they're taking this information, they're combining it with other information they know, and they're coming to the conclusion that since the financial statements show a greater decline than that can be explained by the revenue from the price decline, then it really suggests that something else is going on. Now, my interpretation of this is if it is price times quantity that is equal to revenue, then perhaps we have also an issue not only with prices going down, but with quantities sold going down too. In the second one, we're going to do everything as a percentage of revenues. And we find that in 2013, our net income as a percentage of revenue has declined. And it's around a 2% decline in net income. So out of the revenues for this time period, we only are being able to keep around 9.5%. In previous time period, we had 11.3% of revenues we were able to keep. So the cost of crude oil and products in this analysis is 65% of revenue in 2013, and it's 64.5% of revenue in 2012. And overall, the calculation does show that in 2013 they earn less revenue they earn less net income as a percentage of revenue, as I just discussed. Now, the average cost of computer equipment, it says, fell 8.1%. So let's do some analysis on this one and see what we get. Well, the sales revenue declined by $20,000, which in terms of percentage, they say is negative 16.7%. So again, we have an issue because there's a 16.7% decrease in total revenue, but there's an 8.1% decline in the price. So it tells us it's not just a decline from prices, it's probably a decline also from sales volume. It says the sales volume also decreased here. This one, again, we're going to do the up and down, which is a vertical analysis. And we're going to look at this, and you can go down to the bottom and you can see the net income as a percentage of sales. In 2013 it declined. You know, net income as a percentage of sales is half of what it was in 2012. This is really troublesome. This is a huge decline right here. And when you go through it, you can work your way back up it, and you can see that there's not much change when you're at the gross profit line. Where do the problems start happening? The problems start happening here in selling and general and administrative expenses, which are, you know, that's close to 6%. I guess it's 5.2% higher as a percentage of revenues for 2013. So this is where their problems come in. Their income tax expense is also a little bit different here, and that causes us some issue or some concerns. The income before income tax numbers are different. The problem, again, seems to be coming from the selling, general, and administrative issues.